Kampa, a small town comprising mainly of Chinese residents, also houses UTAR Kampa, which as well also houses Chinese ethnicity students as well as Malay, Indian, and international ethnicities. However, the problem is the minorities have trouble communicating with the majorities due to language barriers. The next few minutes is going to be the findings of my interviewees on this issue. So, are you comfortable with the current state as a student in terms of being a minority in Utah?
No, I'm not, because the minorities do not get the same treatment as the majority due to the fact that there is racial consent in this, and there are people who do not feel, how do you say, do not feel obliged to be nice to the minority.
Alright. Do you feel shunned out when it comes to group work, and why?
Yes, because the majority feel the minority are incompetent, and they do not have the same mentality, as well as language barrier. Language barrier plays a major part in this, because they do not understand, and that becomes a major problem.
Alright. What do you think can be done to reduce the stigma?
The majority people can be nicer people and not let their racial stigma come in between professionalism.
Alright, thank you very much.
I feel comfortable, but the problem is we are facing some communication barriers, so it makes us hard to mingle with the majority. For the group work, I don't really feel anything, but the thing is, sometimes the language is becoming the number one problem, so I face some difficulties in communicating with them. And to reduce the stigma, I think proper English would be the solution for that. And it also can create a strong bond between the majority and the minority. And in my opinion, I would like to suggest that Utah should have some activities which involves majority and the minority.
Hi, so are you comfortable with the current state as a student in terms of being a minority in Utah?
Well, I was brought up in a family where we were taught that every race is equal.
Okay.
Even though, I grew up in Singapore, so I was a minority. And I know how it feels like to be a minority. So, being in Utah is not much of a culture shock for me.
Alright. Do you feel shunned when it comes to group work? And why as well?
Okay, so when you say the word shun, I guess it's like maybe in terms of like communication. Fortunately for my course that I'm taking, everybody does not have a problem with communicating.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's the good side of it lah. I thought before I came here I would have that kind of communication problem, but turns out that it's not. I don't have that problem.
So it's a yes, right? If I'm not mistaken, right? So what do you think can actually be done to reduce this racial stigma?
Racial stigma. You have to be open to a lot of other stuff.
Okay.
You have to be open to, like people always say cultural events, like for example, like journalism students, let's say we have like a cultural event, like let's say, last week they had a Indian cultural festival. So, like journalism students from our class, like from all races, we actually attended that. At least 4 of us, so Chinese, Malay, Indian.
Alright.
So with that, I guess with that experience, more experience lah.
No experience.
Yeah, more experience, you will slowly just ignore the stigma.
Are you comfortable with the current state as a student in terms of being a majority in Utah?
Yes, because I'm in the majority group, which is the Chinese group.
Alright. Do you feel shunned out when it comes to group work, when it comes in terms of working with minorities?
Uh, won't, because I
Mm-hmm.
will try my best to approach them
Okay.
myself.
In your opinion, what would you suggest that the majority could do to reduce this issue?
They should also learn to approach others like we others approach them.
Okay.
Learn the way to communicate others.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's it.
All right. Thank you. Inside of my interviewees, which are from the majority and the minorities, the main problem can be seen that it is the language barrier as well as the communication. This situation can be remedied in a sense that to be using a universal language such as English or the native language in Malaysia, which is Bahasa Malaysia. In terms of that, this situation can be reduced by just switching to a language that both party understands. Thank you for watching.